G'day mates, Paul.K.Dragon here. I just wanted to make a video discussing the topic about Nintendo and their shutdown of the eShop for Wii U and 3DS. I know I'm a little bit late to the topic, but since we're very close to the date where, well, it's only a few months away to the shutdown of the store, I thought it would be a good time to make a video and talk about it. I think it's by far the most dumbest decision Nintendo has made in goddamn years. It is very stupid. I feel like it's a giant waste of a money opportunity, considering the fact that they could have easily released those games as a virtual console game for the Switch, instead of relying on this very slow and random Nintendo online subscription service for their NES games, SNES games, and Nintendo 64 games from the expansion pass. I believe that service right there is really dumb compared to Virtual Console. Like, here's the thing, I would gladly buy the Donkey Kong Country trilogy over and over again for future platforms, because I love Donkey Kong Country. I love those games, and I would rather purchase those games over and over again for future consoles, rather than just relying on a stupid Nintendo online subscription service. And not to mention, scalpers are going to take full advantage of this when the eShop shuts down for Wii U and 3DS down the line. If you think back to, say, like 2 to 3 years ago, when Nintendo released Super Mario 3D All-Stars for their Super Mario Anniversary, it was only available for a limited time, which was a really dumb decision that they've made. And when that limited time came to an end, the Super Mario 3D All-Stars was removed from the eShop store, and the only way to get that game now is via physical release. By the time the limited time came to an end, scalpers made that into a field day, and they were able to sell that game on eBay for, yikes, that much. Like $2 million just for that game? Yeah, no. Actually, right now, you don't really see that price anymore. I'm pretty sure it's still high up in there. Like, last time I've seen that game, it was around, say, $100, which I don't think is worth that much. But, Jesus Christ. If the eShop for Wii U and 3DS would shut down, imagine it's going to happen again. Scalpers are going to take full advantage of it for Wii U and 3DS, and in order to get those games with all of those massive games on it, expect to pay a premium. I will tell you that. And I do not want Nintendo to make the same mistake again. You also have to consider that not only does this affect old Nintendo games, but this also affects new Nintendo games down the line. Like, if Nintendo has no plans to preserve their games, it's only going to damage their business. And it makes you think twice in buying new games. Like, say for example, you want to get the new Fire Emblem Engaged for the Nintendo Switch, right? But you want to experience of what led to Fire Emblem Engaged to begin with. So you want to go back to the 3DS and experience Fire Emblem Awakening, and you want to get that. But hold on, the eShop for the 3DS and the Wii U has shut down. So what's the only way to get it? By eBay and Amazon, and you expect to pay a premium for that game. Yikes. And because of that, it makes you think twice of buying Fire Emblem Engaged. Like, hold on, if Nintendo has no plans to preserve their games, what's the point in buying Fire Emblem Engaged, where down the line, a decade later, they'll probably release a new generation of a Nintendo console, and they're not even going to have Fire Emblem Engaged for that system. You see what I mean? And this will happen again and again and again for future Nintendo generation consoles. While Microsoft and Sony, on the other hand, they're still preserving their games by selling them over and over and over again. They're still making money, while Nintendo is just getting destroyed. They're not preserving their games. They're not reselling their old games over and over again by doing the virtual console method, and they're just way behind. And it's just gonna damage their business if they continue to do this. To Nintendo and to whoever's in charge of Nintendo now, I loved growing up with your systems over the years. From the Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, DS, 3DS, Game Boy Advanced. I love playing those systems. And it's a shame that you're not even going to preserve your long line history of games when you can easily resell those games over and over again and you can still make money. Like, you got a long line of gaming history over the years, and you pretty much have more consoles than Microsoft and Sony does, and you have a large amount of gaming history to prove it. And to Nintendo as well, I know you guys don't like to see people pirating your games on emulators and the like, but let me ask you, why do you think people do that in the first place? Because they want to experience that long line history of games, while you yourself are not preserving that history of games. Which is why it's important to preserve your history of games. So that way, this would probably happen less and less if you have, like, say, a virtual console on the Switch. Nintendo, seriously, you got a whole large library of gaming history, and I would hate to see you lose that. You need to start preserving your gaming history. Otherwise, it's only going to hurt your business in the long run. I'm Paul.K.Dragon, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Laters.